Diversification is one of the most frequently used words in investing, but also one of the most misunderstood. For many, it simply means adding more products. But real diversification is about purpose, correlation, and a clear role for every asset in your portfolio. In this episode of Nivesh Pe Charcha, the Diversification Playbook, we explore what most people get wrong about diversification and how to fix it. We're joined by Mr. Vikas Gupta, founder and CEO of Kangaroo Associates, a boutique wealth management firm based in South Delhi. With over 3 decades of collective experience across the team, Kangaroo Associates focuses on building personalized financial strategies that align with one's long-term goals, risk preferences, and portfolio structure. Today, Mr. Gupta helps us decode the difference between collecting products and constructing a diversified portfolio and why a multi-asset strategy may help bring clarity to both. Let's begin. Mr. Gupta, thank you so much for taking time out to chat with us today. A lot of investors say they have diversified. But आपको क्या लगता है? Do you think that the word often gets, misinterpreted or mistaken for something else?
Exactly. I think you have brought up a very important point. A lot of people think diversification is only about numbers or quantity, while diversification is not about quantity, it is about quality. So diversification doesn't mean that you buy 10 mutual funds in the same sector. So I'll give you an example. In technology sector, way back in 2000, so we had a lot of investors who will say, oh, I've got 10 funds. But when you look at those 10 funds, most of them were 10 technology funds, and 80% of their holdings was same. So what happens is, it is not important to diversify for the sake of it, and that's what most of the investor does. So the quantity is taken care of, but quality is not taken care of. So when we talk of quality, diversification has to be not only in terms of asset classes. So asset classes, when I say, we have equity, we have debt, we have gold, we have REITs, we have foreign assets. So one has to look at diversification across asset classes. It doesn't surely has to be in terms of numbers. So numbers, okay, that's a myth, and I think very important question which you have put in, and I think for the investors, it is very, very important to look at quality, not quantity alone.
So debt, equity, gold, अलग-अलग जो asset classes होते हैं, each have their own personality. Now,
Absolutely.
इन सबका जो अलग-अलग role है, how do you explain that in a long-term portfolio? What kind of a role do each of these play?
देखिए, क्रिकेट तो इंडिया में सबको ही समझता है. आप 11 बैट्समैन से मैच नहीं जीत सकते. आप 11 बॉलर से मैच नहीं जीत सकते, या आप 11 विकेट कीपर से मैच नहीं जीत सकते. So it has to be a mix of batsman, bowler, and a wicket keeper. And within that, in the batsman also, you can't have all 5 or 6 batsmen as sloggers. You need to have accumulators as well, who build the inning around. You need to have someone who can change gears as and when he wants to. So each has his own personality. Equity is the growth engine. So that's the batsman part. And you must have gold, which is kind of a wicket keeper, hedge, and must have bowlers, which is the other part, which is debt.
Well, interesting spin that you've given, this whole thing there. But investing के समय एक और word है जो commonly use होता है, and that is correlation. But it's not always understood by everybody. So in simple terms, what does it mean and why does it matter?
See, correlation को आप कैसे समझेंगे? There is negative correlation, there is positive correlation, and there is no correlation. So positive correlation क्या है? गाड़ी में हमने एक्सीलेटर दबाया, गाड़ी आगे चलेगी. So this is positive correlation. Negative correlation क्या है? कि जहां पे हमने ब्रेक लगाया तो गाड़ी रुक गई, या हमने रिवर्स गियर लगाया तो वो गाड़ी रिवर्स में चल रही है. आप काम वही कर रहे हो. एंड नो कोरिलेशन है, गाड़ी स्टैंड स्टिल खड़ी है, आपने स्टार्ट ही नहीं. एसेट क्लासेस में अगर हम कोरिलेशन की बात करें तो आप देखिए, डेट एंड इक्विटी आर नेगेटिवली कोरिलेटेड. तो जब भी मार्केट के अंदर फॉल आता है तो उस समय इन्वेस्टर्स क्या करते हैं? उस समय इन्वेस्टर्स दे टेक आउट मनी फ्रॉम इक्विटी मार्केट्स and go and debt or bonds. So there is and because everyone is buying fixed the bonds, the prices of bonds go up, and everyone is selling equity, the prices of equity go down. So equity goes down, bonds go up. There is a negative correlation. What is positive correlation? So positive correlation is FI का पैसा इंडिया में आ रहा है, तो FI का पैसा इंडिया में आ रहा है तो वो क्या खरीदेगा? Will buy equities, so equities will go up. So equity FI का पैसा अंदर आ रहा है, it means there is a positive correlation to equities market going up. So that's how I would like to explain this for our investors.
एक और चीज है बिहेवियरल बायसेस, जैसे ओवर कॉन्फिडेंस हो गया या फियर हो गया, तो व्हाट काइंड ऑफ बिहेवियरल बायसेस डू यू सी गेटिंग इन द वे ऑफ multiple asset classes as well?
See, what happens is always investors find exuberance. So they are at two extremes. At one extremes, you'll see investors buying equities like, and we have seen this. We have seen this in our business because we meet investors day in, day out. There have been times when investors are telling us, so that is the extreme case of overconfidence. So investors are overconfident कि boss कुछ नहीं होने वाला, India is doing very well. Another thing is, and that may not be time to invest in equities, right? So what happens is when the investors are overconfident and that may not be the best time. And reverse is also true. So they are moving as per their preferences or overconfidence or fear. What we have seen in last 10 years, there is no particular asset class which does well every year. So if you see the data of the last 10 years, 4 years equity has performed well, 4 years debt has performed well, and 2 years gold has performed well. So you don't know. If anyone knows, he should not be doing what he is doing. He should be investing only, right? So there is behavioral biases which actually are influencing the investors' behavior in terms of investing.
So, just to come back to the multi-asset allocation point, how do you see a multi-asset allocation strategy helping somebody जिन्हें एक well-structured portfolio चाहिए without wanting to micromanage everything?
A multi-asset allocation strategy, whereby investors get the flavor of all the asset classes. So you get equity, you get debt, you get gold, maybe silver, maybe REITs and InvITs as well. So you get a spectrum of asset classes which are there for the investors packaged in one product. If you buy those products, the question which the investor always puts to us is, why can't I do it myself? A, you will never do it because of the reason which we explained to you, the overconfidence and the fear. So these are the products which will allocate into all the asset classes over a period of time. One. Secondly, the design of the product is such that it delivers on a post-tax basis. It gives return because the taxation for a packaged product is that of the equity, which is the lowest. While when you go to invest debt, it is your marginal rate of taxation. Plus, you can't micromanage it. You can't do it. You can't do regular balancing, which a fund manager does. So taxation is second. Third is it provides low volatility, low drawdowns.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Gupta, for breaking it down so wonderfully for us and our viewers. Thank you so much once again for joining us on Grow AMC.
Thank you very much, Karunya. I hope that the investors would have learned something which we have learned from the investors over the past 20-25 years of our experience in the market. Thank you very much.
As Mr. Vikas Gupta pointed out, the idea of diversification only works when it's done with intention. Equity, debt, and gold behave differently, and when brought together thoughtfully, they can seek to reduce portfolio level risk while aligning to different parts of your financial journey. The Grow Multi-Asset Allocation Fund seeks to do just that. It aims to bring equity, debt, and commodities like gold and silver together within a single structure, so investors don't have to manage each part separately. The NFO is open from 10th to 24th of September 2025. Please consult your financial advisor before investing and read all scheme-related documents carefully. Because real diversification isn't about how much you add, it's about how well everything works together.
म्यूचुअल फंड निवेश बाजार जोखिम के अधीन है। योजना संबंधी सभी दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें। Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.